Hello, boys and girls. Well, today is date night, and Mrs. Carnal has decided that for date night, we're gonna go see The Black Widow in theater. So, wish me luck there, boys. Now, before we get into whether or not The Black Widow is woke or not, let's just say Mrs. Carnal heard good things about it, and she's excited, so I'm excited. It's a comic book movie. I should be relatively into it. And, yeah, good times. But, it's, me and Mrs. Carnal have a kind of touch-and-go relationship on, the woke. So sometimes, and I think it has to do with basic differences between men and women overall. And she seems to be, very more lax in terms of, acknowledging people's feelings. And, as a dad, that you have to understand, I'm a father in a house full of girls. I have 4 daughters. So I have to follow her lead a lot of times in terms of how much logic and reason and emotion we let into the discussion when raising our children. And that is normal. That is healthy. And I'm grateful for it. But Mrs. Carnal is also relatively based. One thing I wanted to share with y'all is I did a post a while back on the Westboro Baptist Church, in which I basically announced that I am tentatively an ally, an official ally of the Westboro Baptist Church. And but before any of you jump on me, this is in response to a video that Milo Yiannopoulos did interviewing the leadership of the Westboro Baptist Church. And the biggest controversy, the big linchpin for most people, is when the Westboro Baptist Church would essentially protest and picket veterans' funerals. And go listen to that interview. Milo Yiannopoulos, Westboro Baptist Church. Go and find it. I'm not sure I'll have a link when I upload this video. And the reason is simply this: the Westboro Baptist Church has been lied on significantly, and when I heard from their own mouths what they did, why they did it, and what actually happened rather than what was purported to have happened, Milo brought up a very, very concise point. He said that the Westboro Baptist Church and the group of people who were in charge of conversion therapy, known as electroshock therapy, which is also not an honest take on conversion therapy, and to claim that homosexuals were abused throughout this process is staggeringly false. Milo said that these two things were kind of like the prototypes for what the left would do later through mainstream media and big tech with Alex Jones. It was a gross disinformation campaign on these particular groups to see how much they could get away with. Now, the great thing is, Mrs. Carnal listened to that interview which I had posted with Milo, and she came out agreeing with me. Now, you have to understand that the hazard of what I do and why I do it is I can post shit and it will infuriate my lovely wife. Absolutely infuriate her to no end, because I put things in such a blunt and controversial and provocative way. However, when I announced on Facebook that I am an official ally of Westboro Baptist Church, and she watched the interview, she was all on board because she actually engaged with the content. Now, a disclaimer that I have to add to that is she had not heard of the Westboro Baptist Church before. She hadn't been exposed somehow to the cultural assumptions that we have about Westboro Baptist Church. So I would highly suggest that all of my listeners, or those who listen to this, go and find that interview, which is still on YouTube. You can still listen, you can still find and listen to it, and it's fantastic. And the reason for my alliance with Westboro Baptist has nothing to do with theology. It has nothing to do with even whether or not I think Westboro Baptist Church is effective, because I don't. I don't even agree with them on some points of fundamental doctrine even. The reason that I've decided to ally with them is because, very simply, they've been lied on, and I don't feel like rewarding the mainstream media with that smear. I don't feel like rewarding bad behavior. I don't feel like carrying a prejudice against a group of people because I was intentionally misled to misunderstand them. And people, when we find people like that, we do need to kind of let them in. We do need to have open minds and hearts towards these people, because there's a reason why they were shut down. There was a reason why this group was stigmatized to the point that it was not made acceptable to be accepting of them. And you should always be critical of when your mainstream media and the establishment does that to individuals and groups. Always. So, I've come out of the closet. I'm officially an ally of Westboro Baptist Church. And I'm going to have a lovely evening with Mrs. Carnal. And I'll probably post a review of Black Widow tomorrow because, well, we'll be seeing it tonight, and I'll let you know what I think. I think that's all for today. As always, everyone, stay carnal and God bless.